What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the Mr. Hero Show. I'm your host, Mr. Hero, and today we are super excited. Today we are joined by musician, educator, author, founder of NOLA Keys, Mr. Senais. Through music, literacy, mentorship, and scholarship, he has helped young people discover their potential and build brighter futures. What's up, my guy? What's up, bro?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for inviting me, man.
Man, no, we super excited to have you, man. You're doing so much great work in the community, man. And I'm ready to dive into it and talk about it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into it. All right, man. So tell us a little bit about NOLA Keys, man, how it came about.
And so NOLA Keys is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We provide music lessons for kids all throughout the city. We give out free instruments, free lessons. We give out books, and we give out free piano lessons as well. So it started about 6 years ago, just doing a lot of stuff in the community and different things like that. One of my mentors is like, man, you need to make this a 501c3 nonprofit organization because you've been doing the work for years and years, so you might as well, go on and make it a 501c3 nonprofit organization, make it legit. And the rest is history, man. We've been on there, rolling ever since.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of feedback, man, you get from the program, man, from the youth, from the community, man? Talk about it.
I get a lot of feedback. A lot of kids are excited about music. They want to learn. A lot of them want to, rap, sing, produce, different things like that. So they always asking Mr. E, man, let me learn how to play this beat. Why beat? They love young boys, so they be wanting to learn how to play the young boy beats. Why D the illest? They be wanting to learn how to play those, different beats. So it's exciting to see that, they're eager to learn how to play music and how to, go about doing these things,
Awesome, man. I mean, we're in New Orleans, man. We're in the music city, man.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about here. So, I mean, just talk about the next generation of musicians. Is it a lot of opportunities out there, for young musicians? Are you providing a lot of those opportunities through other partner avenues? Or just talk a little bit about just the opportunity they have to be a part of the music scene.
So there's a lot of opportunities for young musicians, so we're trying to pull a lot of the kids in. We do partner with other organizations like the Roots of Music. Nice. They have the marching band. We come in and we provide, the band for as like a jazz band. So, piano, bass guitar, lead guitar, set drums. And, so you don't see it as much as you used to see it because a lot of kids don't go to church no more. Mm-hmm. So I used to go to church every Sunday, pretty much 5, 6, 7 days a week. My grandmother dragged me to church. So that's where we learned how to play a lot of instruments. I started out on the drums, then I started playing lead guitar, then bass guitar, then I hopped on piano, but a lot of the kids, they're so focused really right now on, Fortnite, Roblox, TikTok, and stuff like that. So it's taken away from, us being able to create as many musicians as we used to back in the day. But, just trying to, give the kids something to be excited about and let them know that there's a lot of opportunities in music. There's a lot of scholarships in music. You got to think about it. A lot of kids love playing sports, basketball, football, which is great. However, statistics says that more kids can get scholarships with music versus athletic scholarships. Mm-hmm. So we just want to encourage the kids. There's nothing wrong with playing basketball and football. You can do both. Mm-hmm. So in school, I played basketball. I wasn't that good. I came off the bench, 6-man, which was fine. But, when it came down to the band, I was the man. When it came down to choir, I was the man. When it came down to playing the piano, I was the man, and I was able to get a scholarship with music. I didn't get one with basketball because my skills wasn't on that level. But you just got to be honest with yourself, And I'm glad I had parents that was honest with me. Like, yeah, you all right with basketball, but music is where God gave you this gift. So you need to pursue this gift. And I'm glad I did because I was able to get scholarships and different things like that. So we want to tell the kids that there is a lot of opportunities, but be honest with yourself. What are you the best at? Is it athletics? Is it music? Like, what is it? And once you find it, then, take off with that.
And do you feel like there's clear opportunities for young people in music in New Orleans?
It's a lot of opportunities for young people in New Orleans because this is the birthplace of jazz. Like when people, you got to think about what would New Orleans be without music.
Yeah, of course.
If you wherever we go, is music being played. Whether you go to a brunch on a Sunday, whether you go to your best friend party, the DJ is important for you to have a good DJ. If the DJ is bad,
It's all bad.
it's all bad. When you go into church, think about church.
Yep.
Your best churches have what? Some of the best musicians.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the music here is on a whole nother level. Musicians don't make as much as they should. Like when you travel other places like California, New York, when you travel to overseas to France and different things like that. However, it's a lot of great opportunities here for kids.
Right, and I know when you mentioned musicians here, they had this big thing about just the gig workers and the culture grant had some funding going toward those artists that's in the city that play music and don't make a lot of money. But then also you have like jazz fests here and all kind of festivals that's here, man. That kids can participate in. And so let me ask you this: when you talk about music and creating the groups and bringing young people back together, how do we get young people back interested in music? Like the old days. I remember my closest encounter with music was me almost joining a band. Right,
Almost.
I found out how far they had to march.
Right.
I was all for getting a band, man, playing an instrument, but it was like 10 miles.
It's
I
a lot.
started rethinking what instrument I was picking, man, because I like the guy with the big old drum, him with the boom.
Right.
I don't know if I can carry that thing for about 8 miles. So again, man, how do we get kids back interested in music, man? And
I think one of the ways we can get them back interested in music is kids love incentives.
Yep.
They love what they can get out of what's going on. So, and that's one of the things that we try to do as much as possible is tell them about the incentives. So even with band, we encourage them, band and choir, we encourage them, if you join this program, you can get $50,000 worth of scholarships to whatever school you may want to go to, whether it's Jackson State, whether it's Southern, whether it's Texas Southern, whatever college you want to go to, you can get scholarships. We take trips. We go out of town, we provide food. The kids love to eat. So we tell them we got pizza, we got chicken, whatever, we also tell them about the different festivals that we have, like you said, like Jazz Fest. I've been doing Jazz Fest since high school, pretty much every year, from when I was in high school to now me actually being a director, but telling them about the festivals, telling them about some of the community events that we do, whether it's going sing at the news station, whether it's going sing at a church, whether it's going sing at the community center. We do Algiers Festival every year, with Mr. Oscar Rainey, just doing like a lot of fun things. And kids love being out of school. Absolutely. So when we tell them about field trips, they're like, field trips? I could get out of school and it won't count as an absence? What? I'm coming. I'm signing up. Show me what to sign up because I'm going to sign up and actually be a part. So that's some of the things that we can do to encourage them to actually want to do it and participate.
Okay. And so let me ask you this, what gap, man, that you saw in the community that made you say like, hey, I got to step in. Like I got to get involved. Like I got to start something to create these opportunities.
So the gap I saw in the community to make me want to step up is I saw that it was a gap in our community for as musicians. A lot of churches and pastors will call me to ask for, organ players or drummers. And I'm like, all of them are occupied. Like, I don't know any of them that actually, are available. So, I was like, what? It's a gap. Like, I need to create more musicians because a lot of musicians, it's hard to find them. So I'm like, I need to do something to make sure, we can have more musicians. So when pastors call me, if somebody call me saying they need a musician for a gig, I could call somebody that's available. I could get, somebody that's reasonable because a lot of churches, they are on a budget. So the musicians that I can call, the churches can't afford. So it's just like, even some of the festivals, if somebody's starting something and they need a musician, they can't afford the musician that's been around 10, 15, 20 years. So they need somebody young that, just starting, but that's still good. And I also saw, just growing up in a rough neighborhood, I saw how consistent the streets was to grabbing our kids. So like the streets are committed. And a lot of our kids are falling to the streets because they're offered, drug money, they offered, guns and stuff like that at an early age, and it's catching their eye. So I'm like, if we can be as consistent or even more consistent as the streets, instead of us losing our kids to violence, and instead of us losing our kids to being incarcerated, we can actually pull them on the other side and actually have a success path for them. But we have to be consistent. That's the key.
Right. No, I wholeheartedly agree, man. Especially when you say about being consistent. I think a lot of programs start and stop. A lot of times, how do you compete with this look fancy? I get the shoes, I get the clothes, and this right here, I feel like I got to work for. Like I say again, getting them early and exposing them to what you have is super important. But man, just to talk about how much you do, man. You're also educated as well, man.
Yes, sir.
How do you balance? I see you at every event too. Like, I see you at every event supporting, man. You're an educator, man. You have your organization, man. Just talk a little bit of how you balance all these things, man.
So I was taught as a kid, man, my dad always told me, he was like, don't be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And I'm like, Dad, what you talking about? He was like, if you're going to do something, I need you to master it. I need you to be the best that you can be, because I don't want you penny, nickel, and diamond one organization or one thing, and then you giving something else your all. So you have to be able to balance it. If you're not going to balance it out, don't do it. Don't commit to it, and you're not going to give it your all. So, music was a love and a passion that I had. So I'm like, I asked God, I was like, what can I do to create some type of generational, like, not just wealth, but like a generational change. Instead of it being a generational curse, I want to be a generational blessing to not just my family, but my community. So he was like, man, you need to teach. And I was like, I don't know about teaching. Like, teachers don't make no money. They got to deal with attitudes. They got to, but it just, God he gave me an opportunity, and I really took it, So when the opportunity came for me to start teaching, I know Mr. Knox. Mr. Knox was one of the teachers that I first started working with. I was an intern, and it just blossomed from there, man. From me, teaching at the school to being a musical director at a couple of churches to me, actually having my own organization. And I just asked God, I was like, God, if you're giving me these things, I need to have enough endurance to be able to do everything. You know what I mean? And the scripture came to me, too much is given, much is required. So I was like, God, if you give me the opportunity to do these things, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. However, I want to make sure I support people that's doing the same things I'm doing. You know what I mean? And he showed me too, it don't matter whether they support you or not, I need you to support them.
Wow.
And the biggest thing is, I could give a donation, I could send $50 or $100, but it's nothing like your presence actually being there. It's nothing like when somebody having something and they actually see you. They actually see that you're supporting them. They actually see that, you're encouraging them and different things like that. So when I see people having events, I know I can't make everything, but I make it my goal to try to just show up so they could see that, Senais Edwards is supporting what you are doing. NOLA Keys is supporting what you're doing. And if we can help in any kind of way, we are here to actually help.
And like right now, as it relates to the organization, like what is one of the biggest challenges that the organization, kind of facing in these times?
Oh, Jesus. We're facing a lot of challenges, I will say that. But one of the biggest challenges is when you are doing work like this, you have to come out of pocket with a lot of stuff.
Talk about it, man.
And
mic, man.
oh, Jesus. So I'm like, thank God that I was in a place financially. Like I started working and playing at two churches like when I was young. So I was getting paid there and I had, my 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I'm, wealthy, but God has been blessing financially, So I'm like, you know what? Instead of me just spending this money, going out, taking trips, just blowing this money, I want to invest back into my community. So when I came up with that idea, I didn't think it was going to be as expensive as it is. So, I was coming out of pocket when I was young, I'm like, this kid need a piano? Man, let me go to Guitar Center. Piano's like maybe $150, $200. I was like, that ain't gonna hurt. Let me go. But then it turned from one kid to 10 kids to 50 kids to now 100 plus kids. And I'm like, I don't have that type of money. I got to slow it down. And then, with the piano lessons, like it started with me being a musical director at the churches. And I told the kids at the churches, I was like, you know what? I told the pastor, I was like, I'll be available on Saturdays to give out piano lessons. Any kids that show up, the church don't have to pay me. Their parents don't have to pay me, So it started with like 5 kids. The 5 kids with the 10 kids. The 10 kids with the 20 kids. And now we have over 100 kids that has signed up on our website for free lessons. However, it's hard for us to serve all of those kids because we don't have the manpower. So and just being a nonprofit, we don't have as many, grants that we used to get because of a lot of the funding that's been cut and stuff like that with the city, with the state, federal funds and stuff like that. So we do have a few sponsors, we do have a few partners that come in, but it's not on a magnitude for us to actually service 100 plus kids. So we just praying that one day that will actually happen so we can actually service all of the kids that have signed up on our website and stuff like that.
And so, we always say it take a village, man.
Takes a
what can a village do, man? Like, talk a little bit of how the community can support, man, to further that mission.
So one of the greatest things that the community can do to support is just volunteering. So like when we have different events, when we have community events, just showing up, volunteering, giving their time, because my thing is this, like when we have, our back to school supply giveaway, we have, the things for, school for as piano lessons, guitar lessons, drum lessons. Like if you have a young adult that's in college, we have some of the college students that come, but a lot of them go back home during the summer. So if they could come, volunteer for an hour, volunteer for 2 hours, an hour out the week, an hour out the month, all that adds up, you know what I mean? Even sending monetary donations, like we've shown over the years, we do a great job with showing people where their money is actually going. So we document everything. If we have an event, we make sure we, put it on our website, put it on our social media. When we supporting other events, we make sure we, put it out there so people can actually see where the money is going, where the time is going, and have success stories from the kids. So the kids are actually making videos saying, that they appreciate people actually pouring into the program so they can actually get, the benefits from the program.
And man, you gotta talk about that gala, man. I'm talking the food was great, man. The atmosphere was great. I will not let you leave out talking about the gala. Talk about it, man.
Man, listen, that was one of the hardest tasks that we've actually did.
Man, that was a treat, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. The work that happened behind the scenes, special shout out to Dr. Sandy Parker and Dr. Goins. You're only as good as your team.
Oh, I can agree.
And I knew I couldn't pull it all off myself, but, shout out to, those great women that actually came together and, helped in a whole lot of different areas that we needed the help in, but we wanted to come up with a gala to actually help fundraise. So that's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So we gather people from all across the city, to share with them, what we have done that year, the previous years, and stuff like that, and also shine light on the organization and what we're actually doing in the community. So we had two students. One of our students, he's at Berkeley in Boston, Massachusetts. He's actually up there on a scholarship, doing great things. Man, the kid is phenomenal. We have another kid, Skylar. She's actually at Southeastern. She's doing great with music as well. So just doing things with kids, giving them scholarships, giving them opportunities. So, they can not just be in New Orleans, but they can know that the world is so much bigger than New Orleans. They could travel the world, they could travel the country and really do a great job with, some of the stuff that they do. But the gala, I want to have people come together where they could have a good time, but also understand the importance of what we're actually doing. It's not always about a good time, but it's about making sure that we give back to the community, to great organizations that's doing great work in the community. So yeah, we love the gala, man.
Man, that's a treat. I had a great time. Like I said, great food, man, great music, man. Y'all also honored some teachers, I believe, man. That was real phenomenal, man. But you got this saying, man, that I want to talk about for a second, man, called guns down, instruments, and books up.
Instruments and books up, yeah.
Instruments and books up. We're going to get into that last part, but just talk a little bit about guns down, instruments up, man. What was the thought behind, just coming up with that slogan, and why is that important right now?
So I came up with that slogan because just growing up in the Magnolia Projects, man, it was rough. It was rough. Just seeing the violence, just seeing New Orleans being the murder capital, just seeing the violence in the streets as far as the drugs. You had kids that was 11 and 12 years old that was walking the streets with guns.
Wow.
And I'm like, how y'all get that? Like, hold up, time out. What's going on? I know y'all can't afford this gun. Like, what happened? Like, how did you get that? And some of my friends like, man, my little partner gave it to me. My uncle gave it to me. My daddy, like, what? What? Who are your people? Like, hold up, what's going on? It was crazy, but a lot of my friends was like, they family gave it to them because they needed to be protected. So that went totally against what my parents was telling me, because my parents was telling me that the Bible is your protection. Like this book is sharper than a two-edged sword. But I'm like, with this Bible, if I get attacked, I can't pull this Bible out and defend myself. We're not familiar. Right. So I had to have this conversation with my mom and my dad. I'm like, hold up, ma. Like, what's going on? Like, these guys have weapons. She was like, they have weapons. She was like, you will not be friends with them no more. You can't go around them. You can't. And I'm like, ma, that's my friends. Like, what you mean? But, so that taught me, I'm like, why these kids just have these, weapons, but they don't have no, like, instruments. They don't have nothing productive to actually protect them to take their lives to another level. Because with this gun, yes, you're protecting yourself. However, what if you don't pull it out in time and somebody else, use it to kill you? So, when I got older, I was like, I want to be as consistent or even more consistent than the streets. So if I could put an instrument in a child's hand before they're actually given a weapon, I could actually change that person. So if I put a pair of sticks in your hand, a guitar, a drum, if I put a piano in your hand, I could teach you how to play this instrument so you could start making money at an early age. You know what I mean? So, and that's one of the biggest things with kids too, is that they're doing different things because they need money. A lot of their families are struggling, mom working 9 to 5, 2, 3 jobs, dad doing what he can and stuff like that. But it's just the fact that they don't have the opportunity that I had. Yep. Like their families are totally different. My mom preaching to me about, this Bible, but their parents preaching to them about, look, I need you to carry this tool in case survival. You know what I mean? So not knocking them parents because it's things that they have went through where, they have to watch their back because somebody is coming after them. They coming, and it's sad to say in New Orleans, like if somebody is looking for this person and they can't find that person, they're going to the next person.
Next on the list.
So whether it's the mama, daddy, auntie, uncle, sister, brother, sister, they going after that person, which is sad. But I'm like, you know what? If I could make an impact and give kids instruments and actually help them and steer them in the right direction, I think we can make a big, big difference. And that difference, we've been seeing a big rise in that difference because, you know, like crime is down, you know, and it's not just us, but it's other communities, it's other organizations like Heroes of New Orleans, like NOLA, like, you know, a lot of these other organizations that's out here that's doing great things, you know. So I think that's a big part too.
Man, I'm happy you touched on that, man, because I do think we got to be more realistic, man, about our community, the state of our community, and real life situations that our kids are facing. It's easy for us to paint everybody with a red brush. You know, everybody got the same household, everybody got the same two parents, everybody parents well off.
Right.
And that's just not the case.
That's not the case, right?
Kids out here really in survival mode. And that's why, you know, programs such as yourself is so important. But man, again, a man of many. You got a book out, man.
Actually, two now.
You got two books out, man. 2 books out, man. So let's talk about it, man. Let's jump into these books, man. Tell us a little bit about the book, man.
So the first book, The Little Music Boy, man, is an autobiography about my life growing up in the church, playing music around the city, and just being different. Like when I was growing up, playing piano wasn't something popular for a black kid to do. So a lot of my friends made fun of me. A lot of them laughed. They was like, man, you playing the piano? Man, you the church boy. So just, you know, making fun of me or whatever, but I had tough skin. You know, like mental health is real, and that's what I teach my kids. Now, don't allow, you know, the label of what somebody else give you to define who you are and what direction you're going in life. You know what I mean? So my mentality was, yeah, you calling me church boy right now. However, when I get older, these things will benefit me on a whole nother level. And the same kids that was making fun of me when it was time to go out to like the skating rink, bowling, movies, wherever, they ain't have no money. So they like, man, let me hold $10. I was like, hold up, what you mean hold $10? The piano, you know, I got a couple of dollars, you know. But, you know, some of them, I gave it to them, but some of them I was like, nah, I'm good on you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, you know, you have to bless those who curse you. It's easy to bless people that bless you. It's easy to support people that support you. But, you know, the book talks about blessing people that curse you. Pray for those who despitefully use you. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you said all this stuff about me. However, I'm going to bless you. And at the end of the day, I'm going to leave that on your conscience. You know what I mean? And however you feel after that, then it is what it is. But I think the book speaks volumes about, you know, just a full circle moment. Me going from being a music student to now me being a music teacher. You know what I mean? So it's powerful, and it tells kids all across the world, you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it, if you be consistent, if you have discipline, character, integrity, like you can do whatever it is you want to do.
Okay. And man, so what's the target audience for the book?
So the target audience really is 2nd through 5th graders. However, I don't just limit it to them because I feel like everybody can relate to it in New Orleans. New Orleans is a city full of music, and I'm like, even with the kids can relate to it. I remember when I first told my high school kids at Carr, I was like, man, y'all have something to be proud of. They was like, what, Mr. E? I was like, you know, I'm an author. They was like, man, what? What a book at, Mr. E? We need to read the book. And I was like, you know, so I bought the book from, and they was like, Mr. E, you gonna read it for us? I was like, it's for 2nd through 5th grade. They was like, man, no, it ain't. We need to understand what the book is about. So I read it to my big old high school children. And they actually enjoyed it. They was like, man, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get a copy. So they told their parents, and they actually went and got copies of the book, man. It made me proud. Some of them bought the book to school and was like, man, I need an autograph. You know, so it made me proud. But I would say it could be for older musicians as well, too, because every older musician, at some point, there was the little music boy. There was the little music girl. So I definitely would encourage everybody to get it because it's a testimony of not just my life, but a lot of other musicians' lives that didn't get an opportunity to write a book.
Nice. And so, what prompted you to write a second book?
So what prompted me to write a second book is it's a NOLA Keys music book series.
Okay. Nice.
So before I wrote the books, period, I did some research, and some of the kids was coming to my class, and when I asked them, I said, I need leaders to read the syllabus. We start the first day of school with a syllabus, right? And I have some kids, they be like, they just sit there. I'm like, y'all not no leaders? Like, what's going on? It's like, a couple of kids started trying to read, and I'm like, all right, this is a word that you should know. Like, I'm trying to find out why we're struggling with this. So what I did was I noticed a lot of the kids are struggling in reading. A lot of the kids are struggling in literacy, period. Yep. So I did some research. And when I did the research, it says 70% of 70% of American kids are not reading on grade level. 85% of African American kids are not reading on grade level. I was like, wow, we're in a crisis. Like, these kids can't read. So I was like, what can I do? There's another problem. There's another gap. Just like with the instruments, I'm like, there's another problem, there's another gap. So I'm like, I need to write books. I need to write books and encourage kids to read more. Put TikTok down, put Roblox down, put the Fortnite down, and, even challenging the parents. Take their phones for about an hour or two and make them get a book and read the book. Like a hard copy of the book, not no Kindle, not something they can read off an iPad or a computer. No, get them a hard copy of a book and make them read. Not only make them read, but ask questions. Yep. What was the book about? And I'm talking about in-person questions because ChatGPT got everything. Oh, yeah, you could put anything in chat, boom, it's gonna pull it up. No, ask them in-person questions. Make them do a book report. Like, just have them reading more because a lot of our kids are not reading on grade level, and is affecting us now because we getting high school kids that's reading on the 3rd grade, 4th grade reading level. And that's a problem. So it's like, what can we do to make sure that we tackle the problem, we tackle the issue, and make things better? So that's why I say, you know what? We have to come up with a series of books to make things better. So we're on our second book. The second one is the Little Music Boy Mardi Gras edition. Everybody love Mardi Gras. So, we actually pushing that one, and I'm actually working on my third one right now.
Nice, man. Well, you got to give us a teaser, man. You got to give us a teaser from at least one of the books, your favorite chapter.
So it's not a chapter book, but one of the best things from the book was when it was a parade, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's in the Mardi Gras book. But it was a parade, man. Everybody loved Mardi Gras, and the kids' dream is to march in a parade for Mardi Gras. You got thousands, hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. And I will say, I was marching on one instrument, and the section leader on another instrument passed out.
Opportunity.
The opportunity came. I'm not going to say what happened after that. But he was good, but something happened, and yeah, man. So, somebody had to step up to the plate and do something.
But nah, man, definitely, man. I'm definitely wanting a copy, man. Signed copy at that, man. So
for sure.
But again, man, before we get out of here, I do want you to tell us where we can find the book at, man, how we can purchase copies, and also, man, tell us, how we can follow NOLA Keys, man, and also make contributions.
All right, for sure. So you can find the books on nolakeys.org, or you can find them on Amazon. If you want individual copies, you could just get it on Amazon, nolakeys.org. If you want bulk copies, you could actually send us an email, and we have like a special discounted price that we give nonprofit organizations and different organizations for bulk copies.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. So you can follow us on Instagram, NOLA Keys Music. Of course, our website. If you want to give donations, you could go to the website and click the donation tab. We do have our back to school supply giveaway coming up. Our bike ride, our Stop the Violence bike ride coming up August 1st. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to partner, if you want to, whatever you want to do, definitely just send us an email, nolakeysinfo@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram, or you could hit us up on our website and somebody from our team will definitely get back with you all.
Nice. Well, man, look, from Heroes in New Orleans, man, Mr. Hero, man, I want to just commend you, bro, on all the great work you're doing, the support you're doing, man. You're doing phenomenal work in the schools, outside of the schools, man. Anything we can do to help, man, please let us know. I wish you great success with the books, man. Like I said, again, I need a copy of each one of them signed,
Yes, sir.
man. And again, man, I know we're in some challenging times, man, but you're definitely the guy for the job, man. So just keep up the great work.
Man, thank you. I really appreciate it, man. God bless, for sure.
Absolutely.